whole purpose of life is to prove to the Creator that you intend to restore the divine order. Nature teaches us definitively that life in this world is not important to the Creator. How many life forms perish every day? Why do their lives mean nothing? What is the purpose of their lives? A dust mite, bacteria, a fly lives a couple days. What is the purpose? Are they here to experience being a fly? Certainly, the idea is that you intend to submit to the Creator and to restore the divine order. Once you understand that you have found the meaning of life, there's a certain feeling associated with it. There's also a feeling associated with, and that accompanies having the heart to follow through and a willingness to sacrifice your family and everyone to restore the divine order. To indulge and to kill without purpose is empty. Going to Disneyland, going to work. Well, who are you working for? You're not working for the Creator. You're building the infrastructure of a race or a country or a religion, but not the Creator. So I've made a list of 19 points at this point, and I'm sure there are others that I've discussed in great detail, of why man is delusional. Mankind in general, other than myself at this point, because it has to do with the scale. I draw the line in the divine order. If you understand the meaning of life, and you stop at nothing to be there, to restore the divine order, then you've made the right choice. Unfortunately, people who are poor, such as people in Ethiopia, who their children spend all day walking to deliver some wood, as some of the stories go. Near Addis Ababa, according to the book The White Man's Burden, which is in 2006, so it's a little bit old. This is the Creator's will. Okay, their families at some point separated themselves from the martial art order, and they ended up in a different place. And colonialism kind of shuffled people around. They were spread out. There's parallels in the Bible and the Torah and so on, and certainly in other religions and mythologies and mythological systems. Okay, when all was said and done, when mind control was going to make it so that people don't even have the option to kill themselves or other people, right? The predictive programming, which people deny exists. Okay, the marketing techniques used on the internet, where they predict what you're likely to buy and what, how to market it to you based on your internet footprint, if you will. Obviously, all these things, along with psychiatry and different psychological operations and marketing and propaganda and the different social sciences and sciences associated with this, proved us definitively with brain mapping and so on that we are very close to a time where the government can drug people and use technology and the corporations behind it to prevent them from killing themselves or fighting to the death. Okay, obviously at that point there is no point in living. When they can control you to that degree, you are basically sex slaves, you are basically lemmings, you are basically robots, and what's the point of experiencing anything if your mind is not your own? Okay, we are at a point very near to that as it is, and I would mark the end of free will with the end of the last uncontrolled opposition person with no ill-gotten gains, and that's me. So let's look at the likelihood that the natural order is a coincidence and how that is related to why we are here. Okay, we look at the natural martial art order. What is the likelihood that it is some circumstance or happenstance that I'm the top martial artist, that I come from a martial arts family, that martial arts is how we got to understand God, It's how we truly civilized humanity, how we impressed morality on people in a way that they couldn't deny. This morality allowed for these martial artists to have the discipline, the determination, the dedication, etc., to defeat their enemies and to focus that feeling of righteous indignation, to outmaneuver them, to have a higher level of intelligence and thought. Okay, naturally. The key word is naturally. Not with metallurgy, alchemy, chemistry, poisoning, underhanded methods, right? Killing people while they're asleep, but naturally, and how we would exist in nature naturally. So what is the likelihood that we're here? And what is the likelihood that the martial art order is the way that it is? Okay. What is the likelihood that I am here to close the gate, so to speak? Jesus saying he's the Alpha and the Omega. Obviously, these are based on natural and true lessons. There is a beginning and there is an end for the purpose of humanity, for the ability to be right with the Creator, to exist with the sense. Okay, why is a snail and a hawk not the same? Because the idea that we all evolved from a single-celled organism, we went different directions, life has some kind of common source, so they started going the wrong direction. Now they are so hopelessly gone in the wrong direction that they'll never be a hawk. It's safe to say a snail will never evolve into a hawk. And for that reason, it is also safe to say that humanity will never evolve the spiritual sense and the worth, the natural worthiness to evolve naturally, which is the only way it can be done, to connect to that which is obscured in nature. They can only be achieved naturally through nature, without technology, without chemicals, without the self-direction of humanity, without eugenics, but a natural selection, selecting the natural order naturally to connect to the supernatural. All right. I can't highlight these points enough. So now, so number one, again, is the Sun Temple, Black African Igbo martial art, Eri royalty, but which? And of course, I've overkilled that. You see my other videos. My proof that I'm the top martial artist series is called something along those lines. It's under my playlist if you need refreshing. So the top martial arts system of all time was proven in the beginning, right? It is the Falcon perspective. It's based on the hawk, and they illustrated it masterfully with the Narmer palette, what kind of figure it creates, why they have the upper hand, talk about the monarch, the Ark of the Covenant, right? Ark backwards, C-Ra. It's in the wordplay, which reflects the ideas that these systems that came up with the spelling and the wordplay were reacting to. Okay, he definitively had proven that's the ultimate martial arts system. Okay. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So there's something to this as well, in the sense that the first is the last chance for the martial arts system to be established, and the last person of this system with no ill-gotten gains is the first to close the gate to end humanity. Okay, so in this sense it's true, and I'm sure there's other ways that it's true as well. Let's keep moving on. Number two, the ideas of mind control, subliminal and subliminal messages. Again, these are the lists of things that people are delusional about that they need to reconsider, and they need to reconsider in what little time they have left before I'm done, which I imagine is pretty shortly because of all the difficulties I'm facing and how much damage my body has endured and so on. Again, I am the rally point. If, you know, a person is smart enough to realize that I'm this point, I'm the standard, I'm the gate, right? If they start sabotaging me and the light is reduced, you need to rally around this point and submit more and not less. The Lord is basically saying, the Creator is telling people, look, you know, this is my son. I love him. He is the connection to you. And if he starts to dim, you need to run to his aid that much more. You need to rush. You need to stop at nothing. Okay, if it's being sabotaged and no one's standing with him, no suitable helper, it's not good for him to be alone. The Bible was right about that as well. You need to rush to him. You need to stop at nothing to get to him. Okay, to get that little bit of light before it's too late, because he's protected, but you're not. You and your families aren't. Okay, this is the logical assumption here. I wouldn't bet against it, and all of man seems to have bet against it. Okay, number three. Hades, the root of all modern religions and movements. Again, it's passive, like set positions, meditation, and so on. You know, all the different things I go over. The Hades two-part videos should be maybe the videos before this one. The root of all modern religions and movements. So Hades' main characteristic is he's passive. Name one religion that is like the Shaka Zulu, the Zulus in the Zulu movie, for example, or the Igbo martial arts system, which is in motion. Okay, this is a righteous indignation. This is intensity. Okay. So the different aspects of Hades and how they relate to religions, you know, the darkness and psychology, dark psychology. One of these guys, Michael Aquino or something, saying there's no difference between white and black magic, and so on. While I'm falling behind, let's just go through these things I want to explain. 4, families not worth being complicit for. Again, we all die, okay? We're here to prove to the Lord, to the Creator, that we are going to stop at nothing to restore the divine order, to prove that we are worthy of being with him. Life is a test in that matter, right? It is not a tease, okay? That is part of the test, to overcome these ninnies who are trying to mock you and tease you and threaten you and so on and so forth, which is their occult philosophy. That's why women dress like sluts. That's why they brag about having money. That's why they mock people who are different and so on and so forth. Okay, it is Hades, right? And every religion to some degree does it. They all do it. They're all complicit. They're all part of the gang stalking against me and so on. Okay, number 5. There is no love without the martial art order. There's just ill-gotten gains. Number 6, humanity is sick and mental health does not have the solution. Number 7, to live in a state of complicity or peace with evil is evil. To live after I die is evil. The world becomes hell on earth, if you will. And if you understand who Hades is and Pluto and so on, the riches underneath the earth, fertility and so on and so forth. It's pretty straightforward. Number 8, okay, the suitable helper implications. What are the implications that I haven't found a suitable helper? Well, who did and who didn't, right? It goes back to why there's no good after I'm gone. Number 9, Jesus said things in a way that called for deductive reasoning and deep thought in the Bible. Okay, it's stupid not to see it this way. Any religion that is not trying to do what I'm doing right now and to explain to you using logic, reason, and sense, okay? My sense, and giving you all the opportunity in the world to prove to me in reality that you have a higher sense than I do, goes back to spirit and spirit, right? Everything else is just speculation. What God wouldn't do is make you rely on the word of somebody who hasn't proven to you naturally, logically, that he has more sense. That's what God wouldn't do. Okay, now all these bitches with their magic cards and their tarot cards who stage events in the future, who are like corporations that think long-term, plan long-term, and make sure that things go their way and say, hey, I predicted that. All these insider trader bitches who are basically the same kind of occult thinking, set the stage in the future and make money off it type of bitches. That is not the same thing. I'm pretty sure you all get that after I said that at least, okay? Number 10, the evidence is available through nature and it requires critical thinking. And this includes the argument of the snails and the falcons. At some point, the snails were no longer evolving to be birds. Man is building down in the wrong direction. It is unnatural, and it is hopeless after I die. Number 11, John 18:36, I agree with in the Bible. Jesus said, my kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jewish leaders, right? If you really serve the Lord, are you a passive person? Are you turning the other cheek? You know, are you training intensely to fight, to prevent the interference of your spiritual standard? But then he goes on to say, to prevent his arrest by the Jewish leaders, but now my kingdom is from another place. I don't think it's a coincidence that the Jews are heavily involved in the media, in mental health, and this polyandry or whatever, this nonsense with sleeping around and free love and Marx and Engels and all these sickos. All right, number 12, reflection. And again, I'm saying everybody's outside the divine order, not just them, other than me. Number 12, okay. Why doesn't this line of reasoning matter 3,000 to 4,000 vids later? So you need to ask yourself that as well. I guess I'm going to have to make a part 2. It makes my stomach turn. But I'll finish this list.